It's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the more popular markets out there in the futures world for day traders. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, one quick clarification, and that is I'll be using the 1 hour time frame, meaning each of these candlesticks here represents 1 hour's worth of price action. So first market we'll look at is the NQ. And as a reminder, even if you trade the MNQ, these charts basically mirror image one another. So what I talk about here, you could totally apply over on the MNQ. But good solid session here for the bulls. Mapped out this red line previously, and you can see actually gapped up above it to start the session. And then just based on technical analysis, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And then you can see pretty much the latter part of the early part of the session right there. The price did a fantastic job of just respecting that area before finally getting a push back up with a bit of a pullback here, and then boom, very nice pullback. So now we're getting some true bullishness. We're getting the bulls starting to flex their muscles, because in the past, anytime there's any upwards movement, eventually things would roll back over. But that has not been the case here, with the price now up above the pink line, which you can see on the gap up when the session started. That's actually right where it got smacked back down. But when it did finally break above it, got some movement, pulled back, now respecting it as support. But moving forward, in my opinion, that 19,780 going to be an important area that you want to see hold strong, just for the reason of, and I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down here and then fall back below it, now all of a sudden you'd have the price having gone right inside of this range that it just broke out of. And from a bullish standpoint, truly strong moves don't break out of ranges to then just go right back inside of them. So that's why, in my mind, any sort of pullback, 19,780, very, very important. What about levels of resistance now moving forward? Well, as we're looking back at the chart here, next key battleground to watch moving in the next session, right up here around the 20,290 mark. So 20,290, and then I'll map out one more just in case things get really explosive, with the next key level being up there right around 20,500. But one hurdle at a time. Let's first see if it can make its way up there, and then how the price behaves. But anyway, look at it. Good solid start here to the new week. Next one here, taking a look at the ES, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the past videos, but if you have, drew in that red line right there, the resistance, and you can see gapped up above it this morning, bit of a pullback, came up here, and then like the NQ, it came up, broke through that pink line there, 200 period moving average, and then from there has had a very, very impressive latter part of the session. So now that I look at it, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of all these lines. They serve their purpose for now, and we'll just start afresh. So moving forward now, the ideal level of support that you want to see the price stay above is going to be that pink line right there. 200 period moving average right now valued at 56.77. But from more of the overarching standpoint, the level to keep an eye on is just going to be that purple line there, 50 period simple moving average. Keyword being moving, because as time goes by, that line is going to move itself upward. So it's essentially like a trend line that's drawn itself for you. So in other words, as long as the price stays above the trend line as the price goes, then overall that does imply the price is building those higher lows, and that's what bullish uptrends are all about, just building higher bases. So watch that from more of the overarching standpoint. In terms of next potential areas of resistance, got to zoom things out here. Always a good problem to have when it gets a little bit harder to see. Next key battleground to watch from a resistance standpoint, going to be right up there around the 57.88 mark. So 57.88, next key battleground. But yeah, anyway, look at it. Very, very impressive movement. Assuming you're bullish, gotta love how these lows just keep getting higher and higher. So we'll see if the price can continue to build these stair steps in the upwards direction. Next one here, taking a look at the YM, which is measuring the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones also had a very, very good day. And like these other two we looked at, all about that pink line there, 200 period moving average came up here. You can see got caught up in it for a little while, and then later on in the session, got the separation up through it. So as I've said in a lot of these other ones, the ideal level of support that you would now like to see the price stay above. In other words, if say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute healthiest and strongest moving forward? Certainly if the price can stay above that pink line there, which right now is valued at, let's just call it the 42,000 mark. So let's see if the price can stay up above there, and that would be ideal. But again, if it doesn't, then not the end of the world, because from the bigger picture standpoint, have that purple line there, 50 period moving average, which as it draws itself higher, as we just talked about, as long as the price can stay above there, that does imply the price is building those higher lows, which is what you want to see. Let's just get rid of those lines down there. They serve their purpose. In terms of areas of resistance, next key battleground to watch, right up there around that level at 42,715. So 42,715, next key battleground. But yeah, all the indices right now showing signs of true bullishness. But let's see if it can continue by building those higher lows. We are now moving out of the indices and into the world of oil, and specifically we will take a look at crude. So looking at CL here, and overall, I think that a lot of people have drawn this line here. So as I draw this line in, I'm not trying to press you. I'm not trying to apply this is a great discovery on my part. And I make all those comments because when a lot of people are watching the same areas and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee, is it valid? Is it plausible to think if the price were to come up here and then break up through that level, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a more than plausible scenario. So if you do like to play breakouts, then I think that level right there could be a very interesting dynamic moving forward. And then for those of you that like more so the short-sided trades, I think a trend line here that a lot of people will be watching and curious about is that level right there. Let me change that to green to represent support, and I guess some of it's behind my ugly mug. So there we go. There is where that line is coming from. Quite a few data points now with the price. Whoops, let's try that again. With the price, bouncing off that area. There. A couple more times there. So if the price, and I'm not saying that this will occur, but if the price were to come down there, I can see two groups of people. One group of people saying, I think it's going to bounce. I totally see where they're coming from. Another group of people saying, if it fails, I think it's going to pick up downside pressure. I see where they're coming from. And that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But point being is that you got to think a lot of people will be watching that trend line moving forward. But all in all, some very well-defined levels. So let's see if the next couple of sessions bring some self-fulfilling prophecies. Next one here in the world of precious metals and taking a look at gold. So GC, and overall, kind of a boring session. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but not a whole lot of movement, which I know people have become accustomed to. Gold just putting in a new high seemingly every day. But none of that happened here. Just a lot of kind of sideways choppiness. But within the context of that, it is still building a higher base because you can see right there via that purple line, which I've talked about with the past charts, 50 period moving average. Price found some support there, behaved beautifully. And now, let me be very clear, even if the price were to drop below the purple line, that doesn't mean that gold's ruined or wrecked or anything like that. But just in terms of what would make the chart look the absolute strongest, that would be if it continues to behave as it is right now by staying above that purple line. So pretty straightforward here, headed in the next session. Key area of support in the near term, can it continue to hold? If it does and the price pushes back upwards, then you're just at these all-time highs with the current value at, let's just call it 3,018 will be the key battleground. But like I said, a boring session, but overall still healthy, still above that 50 period moving average. So we'll see what's the next couple of sessions do have to offer. So that wraps up the analysis. If you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for this free live webinar that I'm offering. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage you can use to sign up. But like I said, if you've been enjoying, you can get signed up, and it'll be later this week, Thursday, March 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10, or excuse me, these videos are concerned, I do another playlist where it's top 10, but I'm confusing myself. But as far as these futures markets videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please hit that like button. And also, if you're looking to support the channel in a super free and easy way, please consider hitting that subscribe button. But thanks for watching. Have a good one.